Welcome to Becoming a Writer podcast, a space where we write freely, write fearlessly, and write forever. I am Rubina Gauri Gomes, and as your writer friend, I want to give you the love, support, and encouragement to realize, become, and stay a writer for life. If that is what you need in your current writing phase, please give this podcast a follow. I would also request that you leave a review so that other fellow writers can find this podcast as well. You can also send me your suggestions and questions through the form in the description and help us grow together. You can find more about our conversation and your free Writer's Mental Toolbox PDF at rubinagomes.substack.com. Now please grab a cup of your favorite drink and let's have a quick chat. Hello my writer friends, Rubina here. For our 28th conversation, we are going to talk about why we shouldn't feel guilty for taking breaks. But that is exactly what I do. I feel guilty. It seems I have forgotten life outside of work and don't know how to have fun anymore. I see two explanations for this feeling of guilt. One, I wait to get done with my work to rest or have fun. But since there is no end to work, I keep going without any breaks, which as you could imagine, would lead to burnout, frustrations, and heartbreak. Second is the dreaded feeling of not doing enough. I have pushed myself into this self-imposed prison and I'm working on breaking free. It comes from the unconscious comparison I make between my profession and that of my friends and others. For some reason, I get this impression that they are flying through their professional success riding a unicorn, while I am stuck on the ground painstakingly moving while riding a donkey. That's what my ego mind thinks. My aware mind knows that's not the case. I know so because almost every weekend I spend about an hour listening to my long-distance best friend complain about their job and bosses. Since the ego mind is a loud mouth, that's the voice I hear the most. It gives me this feeling that everyone is ahead of me. Therefore, to make up, I work extra hard and long hours. And any free time I have left over goes into worrying about the work. But this is a funny situation. I feel I am not doing enough, but at the same time, I am overwhelmed almost all the time and already have the next tasks ready on the tray. So clearly, I am doing too much. This got me wondering, what was I doing wrong? Was I putting too much pressure on myself and expecting too much? Maybe I didn't know how to tackle my workload. I may have unconsciously trained myself to believe that I must give output like a machine. Or maybe I wasn't implementing the right attitude for my line of work. It's the last one. Understanding this one would automatically solve the other three. Back in June, I shared my insecurities and uncertainties about my writing career with my best friend. I don't usually share my thoughts with her, but I was in a phase of feeling low and stagnant and needed a safe place to vent out. Her response made me tear up. She made me understand that success is slow, especially in the beginning in a field like mine. That's why very few people choose this line and stick to it. Daring is required for such an endeavor. Daring was her choice of word to describe what I was doing. Even though sometimes writing feels scary, we don't usually see it as an act of daring. Skydiving is daring, free solo climbing is daring, Formula 1 racing is daring, boxing and wrestling are daring, but writing? Daring? We never think of writing in that way. But if we truly look at it, it is an act of dare. We do take the leap of faith, metaphorically speaking, with no clue if we'll survive the jump. Now, by definition then, writing will be exhaustive. It can't be a daring act if you are not putting in beyond measure effort before, during, and after your act. Emotionally, you are exhausted because you are invested in the creation of your art and want it to be the best it can be. Mentally, it is exhausting because you are creating something out of nowhere and that eats up your brain power. Physically too, it may look to others that we are sitting all day, but only we know the repercussions of hunched over backs, bruised fingertips, dry red eyes, and stiff necks. And since you are acting as a medium for creative ideas to be born through you, the energy surge that passes through you will drain you spiritually as well. This then makes it necessary for us to rest and recuperate our emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual batteries, as well as our creative batteries. Taking a break or doing something fun is not a reward for a good writing session or permission to indulge when we reach a writing milestone. It is part of the writing process. We don't write so that we can rest and have fun. We rest and have fun so we can write. The obvious next question then is how writers can incorporate rest and fun into their writing process. The first step is to understand the difference between productivity and pseudo-productivity. I recently read Slow Productivity by Cal Newport. It discussed pseudo-productivity, in which we use visible activity to prove that we are being productive. In office terms, it's spending most of the allotted time on meetings and emails about the project instead of working on them. In writing terms, it's spending time on planning and researching instead of writing, on creating content around our art instead of working on our art, and on stressing about branding, marketing, and selling our books before even writing the book. You know you're being pseudo-productive when, at the end of the day, you realize you did nothing productive. That is, you spent the entire time around writing but didn't actually do any writing. It is crucial we understand where we are being proactive with our writing and where we are unnecessarily draining our energy. The next obvious step is to have fewer things on your plate. First, remove the pseudo-productive activities from your day as much as you can, or schedule them to be after you are done with your primary job of writing. Then make sure you don't jam-pack every minute of your day with projects, tasks, and errands. Give yourself some breathing room and keep some space for surprise errands that are bound to come up throughout the day. Also, be honest with your time and energy expectations. For 99% of us, writing is not the main activity of our day. Our writing gets done in the nooks and crannies and crevices of whatever is left from the day after we have taken care of our jobs, family, responsibilities, personal errands, and other miscellaneous activities. So to expect a chunk of 2 to 3 hours of high quality time and energy for your writing with low disturbances and distractions every single day is a dream that's bound to break. Of course, we want that blissful time slot where we can write to our heart's content, and yes, we should strive for it, but also know that that's not going to happen every day. The best thing we can do is make the most of the time and energy we do have for our writing, while also continuing to figure out how to improve the situation. Indulging in high-quality hobbies is also a good idea for rest and rejuvenation of our writer's soul. Reading books, watching movies and shows, going out in nature or to your favorite place, playing with a pet or kid, moving your body in the way you enjoy the most, spending time with people who energize you, napping, baking, gardening, any activity that leaves you feeling better, fresher, and more excited is a high-quality hobby. Indulging in such hobbies makes you a happier human and therefore a creatively energized writer. Please note, scrolling on social media is not a high-quality hobby. I am sorry, but it is not. Doing that will make your brain more fried than relaxed. Sleep is also important. 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep is the ultimate rest you can give yourself. It's like plugging yourself to charge all night so you can function well the next day. Also plan something fun to look forward to. If a long weekend is coming up soon, plan a trip to a nearby city you always wanted to visit. Or have a weekly get-together planned with your best friend at the cafe. Or book the tickets for the movie that's coming out this week that you are excited about. Or simply plan a home alone self-care day tomorrow. Planning such activities may seem counterproductive and insignificant, so trivial that we will postpone them and instead keep working on our projects. But it's these activities that make us feel alive and human. Remember how you had a school trip or picnic to look forward to and it would get you all excited throughout the week? We want to recreate that feeling of energy and aliveness. You must also appreciate how far you have come in your writing journey. It doesn't matter where you are on this lifelong creative journey. Celebrate it. This feeling of gratefulness will bring you closer to living your writing dreams. The point is that we need to realize that we are not machines. We can't keep working and turning and churning out words until we break down. Even machines need servicing to ensure that they work well and at their optimum level. We are humans who need to let go of the idea of carrying hustling and burnout as badges of honors, as proof that we are doing something worthwhile. It's okay to take a break and do something fun. Doing so doesn't make you less productive or less successful. Instead, it will enrich your life and your writing journey. When I get too caught up in the hustle, I remind myself that when I die, nobody will think of me and say proudly, "Rubina was such a productive writer." Instead, I want them to think of me as a writer whose words made an impact. And I'm pretty sure we can do that while getting some rest and having some fun. What are your thoughts on this? Is taking breaks a part of your writing process? Or is working our hardest the only option we have? And what's your choice of break? Feel free to share your thoughts and tips in the comment section on Substack and YouTube. Well, that's it for today. Next time we meet, we'll talk about why creating content might be keeping you from being a writer. Until then, keep writing, my friend. Thank you for catching up with me today. I hope you found some inspiration to help you write freely, write fearlessly, and write forever. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow my podcast and leave a review. You can also send me your suggestions and questions through the form in the description and help us grow together. You can find more about our conversations and your free Writer's Mental Toolbox PDF at rubinagomes.substack.com. With that, I'll see you later.